let's check out the perpetual pleasurist before we head out for this evening. This will probably be the last video I do. Probably not going to watch the whole thing because he's very long-winded. And you have to stare at a black screen, which is no fun. It's no fun for any of us.
To all you motherfuckers who tell me and others you need to just grow a thicker skin, fuck you. Fuck you. You hypocrite.
This is all he does. He just does these like grandstanding monologues, like these lectures about, and he's like clearly seems like he's like, I think he's definitely a narcissist. I think he might also be like a schizophrenic. I was listening to, do not watch this. It's an anti-natalist channel. They do live streams. Prophet has been on it a few times. And this guy goes on there sometimes. And it was this dude and then another guy that he like hated. And you could really see the mental illness. Like you really got to experience it. It was very cringe. It was so cringe I had to turn it off. I just started feeling too bad.
Critical rot sacks.
Who, me?
You motherfuckers who tell other people they need to do this are the people who have the least amount of fucking thick skin ever amidst the entire fucking human species. And you full well fucking know it. Because when you...
Like he just gets in like this a manic rage ranting state. You imagine how many times he recorded this? How many takes do you think this was? 3, 4. How many times did he go about this? Because it's loose, but it's also kind of prepared, so some of it feels a little practiced. I'm just saying. Tricks of the trade, perpetual pleasurist. I see things like this. I know them because I do those kinds of things too.
You get called out directly, pinpointedly, miraculously, all of a sudden, your thick skin is gone. You have no tolerance and no ability to withstand a barrage.
a barrage of fecal loving essence, energy. Yeah, he's like one of these weird. I think he used to be a Hare Krishna. I think I found that out.
Of calling out your own hypocritical bullshit.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting how that works? You fucking slime sacks who say this shit to others. These same motherfuckers, they'll tell this to us, people like you and me, who express mountainous degrees of tolerance to all sorts of fucking bullshit on a daily goddamn basis. Yeah. Continually. And then...
I mean, you know, I'm just like this dude, you know? Just walk around. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to do anything. Be around these fucking disgusting meat sacks. I gotta live with these fucking people.
The one time we finally decide to act on and call out verifiably what someone has done that is factual, totally unnecessary bullshit to us.
Yeah.
And we stand up for ourselves and we express our actual feelings towards how fucked up that is and how we want that.
Oh, this must be some sort of weird reply video. Oh, that's too bad. Well, let's do a little bit more. Maybe we hop into a different one. Yeah, because they are all... This dude seems like he's always embroiled in some sort of group drama with his weird fetish friends and anti-natalist buddies and mentally unwell people. He's always in a shit fit with somebody. He's always addressing them. I guess this is like the video version of like a subtweet. It's like, I'm not going to say your name, but this is for you.
To not happen to others from that person. We're the ones that get told that we need to develop thicker skin when we've got mountain loads of fucking thickness of skin.
Yeah, I mean, the trauma of their existence. They have to exist. They have to exist in this world, dude. And they do it with the awareness of the absurdity of it all, you know? That's a heavy burden. Think you're not going to get some chafing, some thick skin, carrying that around like Apollo? Come on now.
In fact, we could use less thick skin. But no. These motherfuckers who say this, they're the first motherfuckers to unsubscribe the second they get called out, to do response videos and whine and complain about them being attacked and assaulted and how the other person is being unhinged and over that.
Okay, so this will be probably too inside baseball. That's all right. We can find another one real quick. He's got a lot of them. There is one though. I don't know if we watch it though. Why most men need their penis praised. I don't think we
penis size.
I don't think I've ever watched this one, but yeah, this is another one of his kind of
having your penis size.
Having your penis size. This is another one of his obsessions is penis size and being shamed for your penis size, etc. And how this is like, and then I think circumcision is involved in this. It's kind of wrapped into this worldview. It's one of the, it's like anal sex, fecal matter, penis size, antinatalism. He's kind of a wonderkind. He's kind of a wonderkind, this guy.
Size and sexual performance praised by others spontaneously is an actual need for most men, not only a want. Let's talk about it. And look,
I wonder what is his experience like. What is his profession where he has like these, he can make these kind of very, very confidently make these kind of very broad statements. Like men need to have their penises worshipped. They need to have their penises worshipped. Okay.
Nasty bastard. As soon as I pee on him, he comes.
You know what I mean? But yeah.
Let's talk about why. So you'll have to excuse me in this video for sounding a bit more nasally. I'm overcoming a sickness I'd come down with, but I hope you will excuse that and that we can cover some interesting ground with this subject matter. So I've done multiple videos on this topic, and it's a very significant one. In fact,
yes, it's like you kind of like you're obsessed with it.
It's one of the most popular topics on my channel that many people highly relate to. So what I noticed in my own life was that my source of feeling confident in myself in like every other area, feeling calm, feeling relaxed, feeling at the root core of every single day, deeply satisfied with myself, with my body, with my physiology, with my life.
I was gonna say with my penis.
If we were to use a Hollywood term, we'd say shots fired, shots fired.
Life is directly correlated to the women I'm romantic with spontaneously praising my sexual prowess and my penis. It highly...
I have a feeling this guy, like the women that he fucks, what are we thinking? Like chubby crust punk chicks or something? Or maybe he's probably hooked into some sort of weird, like nutty, crunchy collective. He's probably pulling some decent tail. They're going to smell really bad. They're going to be stanky, but pretty decent.
Increases my happiness in life by a massive margin. By a massive degree.
I guess, I don't know, like if your lady pats you on the back, after a particularly good bang session, a bone down, whatever you want to call it. I've never called it a bone down in my entire life. I just did. I guess it probably makes you feel good, right? Of course it does. Kind of boosts your confidence a little bit. I'm like, yeah, I got it. I still got it. When he talks about this stuff, though, because this is the reality. When he says, like, most men, a lot of men, many men, he's just talking about himself. That's who he's talking about. He's just projecting his feelings and his experience and saying, like, well, everybody actually secretly, deep down inside, wants what I want.
And I can confirm this firsthand in shining colors, because before I started actually having intercourse with anyone, I was semi-voluntarily...
He had to say anyone because the first time it was with a fucking dog. That's a joke. That's a joke. I have no idea if that's true or not. It could be, but I have no idea.
Really single for most of my life, minus a few dates here and there. But it wasn't really up until my late 20s, early 30s that I really actually dove into guaranteeing and ensuring that
It's kind of incredible. So his late 20s, early 30s, which probably makes him what? Like he's probably my age. Maybe 37 to 40. He sounds like a pretentious like philosophy student that's like 25. I thought this guy was like 25. Oh, it's even worse now.
that I would be successful romantically to where I actually started having intercourse with women. So it was a total night and day different experience. My life before that, I had always been a very optimistic, positive person, no matter what life threw at me. Always able to see the positive in any.
So what happened? Why are you such a cynical dirtbag? Why do you start videos off with things like, fuck you, slime, fuck scum? Not very nice.
Situation, no matter what. I was always very good at this. And I was always very highly resistant to depression. But there was always this chronic, nagging, bothered disturbance over the fact that I wasn't having intercourse with women. I wasn't having sexual experiences. And it really severely bothered me because
Yeah, it's a normal thing. It makes you insecure. The longer it takes, and if you're around your peers, people have girlfriends and are having sex and stuff like that, yeah, makes you feel like insecure, makes you feel bad. I imagine the older you get, the worse that feeling would be. Like if you're getting into your 20s and it still really hasn't happened for you, or it's not something that regularly happens, or whatever, I imagine, yeah, it's going to start to bother you a lot because it's like it's a rite of passage. And it's also fucking rad.
I felt physiologically that I was missing something. No matter how confident I was, no matter how much women showed interest in me or fawned over me or whatever, I always screwed it up by how I went about interacting. So I had just a plethora of opportunities throughout my entire teenage years and 20s. I just didn't fucking know how to interact with women in a way that would increase their romantic attraction. I had to
see what he had to do. He had to learn, okay, that he had to pull out his penis.
Learn that in my mid-20s, and I finally got really good at it by my late 20s.
See, I would like to know, what was the process? Like, you have an interesting tale you could tell right now. By which process? What did you learn? What mistakes were you making? What did you correct? Was it just the tenacity? Was it just your dogged spirit? Wouldn't give up till it just started working? It's something out there. It's ephemeral.
And now I have a very flourishing romantic life. That's a piece of cake. And I can very easily ensure that I have romantic success with women.
Yeah, because you're part of probably lots of weird fetish groups and shit that are into scat play. You guys are a niche group. It's probably very accepting.
So women are automatically already visually attracted to me and interpersonally from interactions out in public. I just need to maintain that attraction.
He's like a fucking psycho. He's like a psychopath. Like, this person is out there walking amongst us, having these thoughts as he's interacting with the world. Kind of fucking freaks me out now. Now I'm kind of getting freaked out now that I'm thinking about that. Jesus Christ. Just cold, calculated, sociopathic, sizing everyone up, every moment analyzed.
Attraction that they initially have, and it's smooth sailing. My issue when I was in my teens and 20s, for the most part, was the fact that they would be initially attracted, visually and otherwise, and would approach me and be fawning over me and stuff, you know, all that.
And then I would come in my pants. Then I'd have to go home.
That jazz. But when I started interacting with them, their attraction would noticeably go down extremely quickly, mainly because I'm highly eccentric. I'm highly weird in nature. I'm highly quirky. And I have very specific, hyper-fixated ways of going about conversations and talking and circumscribed interest, all that jazz. You know, the stuff that you experience as someone diagnosed on the autism spectrum, right? So it was never a lack of confidence in those areas, ever. It was simply...
Oh, I'm sorry, brother. I didn't know you were a retard.
Learning how to interact. However, I was also paranoid, especially as a teenager, but still somewhat in my 20s. I was always absolutely paranoid that my penis size would be considered not especially huge and especially noteworthy to women.
Like, why couldn't you figure that out, though? I mean, like, you didn't live in a cave. You're not in some village in the Middle East somewhere. You're not in Palestine. Okay? Like, you can go on the internet, the World Wide Web. You could have found out at least some perspective. You know, you seem like the type of person that would. Although, if this guy's like in his 40s and stuff, maybe it was before that was easily accessible. Actually, yeah. Gotta take that back. My apologies, perpetual pleasurist. Yeah, he was just terrified. He's like, what if it's really small?
However, that concern was completely invalid, I realized, upon my very first sexual encounter. One of the very first things she told me was I was the biggest she had ever been with. So that changed everything. And a little bit before.
So that's what happened. So that's what changed everything. That's what turned it all around. Now he can walk around with a kind of swagger. I think they call it big dick energy. He's out there now. Now there's nowhere to hide, girls. Nowhere to hide. He's out there. He's coming for you. That was his giant dick destroying their pussies and their assholes.
For that, when I started to show my stuff online, just to see what people would say, the feedback was tremendously positive. All across the board, people were saying, wow, you're huge, you're big, this is amazing, you have the perfect size, so on and so everybody.
Okay, so now we got to say, like, okay, you did have access to the internet. Are you just trying to have like a woe is me moment? Are you like embellishing here? I didn't know if I had a big dick. I just didn't know until I was validated, until I got checked out by a professional slut.
Across the board. Okay. And that was fucking amazing. And the fact that I had, you know, cuckold couples contacting me right, left, and center, wanting me.
Yeah, so he just dives directly into degeneracy. Just immediately. First thing that happens, oh, I got laid. Now I'm really about to fucking go off the goddamn chain. I'm just about to dive in, fucking balls deep, with this giant dick into weird fetish cultures. Oh, he must have been an odd dude during that time. All that pent up sexual frustration, clearly addicted to pornography.
Me to bang their wives and stuff. I was like, okay, that's boom. That's all I needed to know. That's what I needed to hear. That's what I needed to see. My life is paradise now, right? But before, I had a totally irrational paranoia of being considered only average bothered the hell out of me. Even the possibility of that drove me insane.
Dude, this guy he's got like serious emotional instability. I think the technical term for somebody, I don't want to like, you know, I don't want to identify anything out of turn or anything, but you know, he seems like what they call a wackadoo.
When I was a teenager up into my early 20s. And this is a big problem that pornography induces in so many men. It's like men don't realize they're actually much bigger than they think they are. But the issue is that it takes real life
Yeah, no,
sexual encounters to actually understand that. It takes actual real life experiences to realize you're actually much bigger than you think you are. So me realizing,
oh yeah, buddy, tell that to the Indian guys. Tell that to those poor bastards. Okay, they have to make like public service announcement videos so the people can cope in India with their tiny dicks.
over time that the 7 to 8 inch range of size was actually considered ideal lengthwise, and the 5.5 to 6 inch thickness range was considered the ideal thickness range as well.
Jesus Christ.
I realized over time that, holy shit, my size that I've literally always had since I was a teenager is considered across the board, like everywhere, to be the ideal size range. So I literally never.
So this guy is he's getting off on this. I'll tell you that right now. Telling everybody that he has literally the perfect penis. Anybody wants to give you hope. He wants to give you hope out there too. Okay, listen. You're bigger than you think you are. And maybe you do. Maybe you also have the perfect penis. You just haven't had the real life experience, the validation. You haven't had a female caller, a woman of the night, express gratitude at the size of your Johnson. You know? That's all that's missing.
Never had anything to worry about. I was literally beating myself over the head over literally nothing for fucking years and years, and it was the dumbest thing ever. And I was like,
for years and years this went on.
Holy shit, I literally wasted decades of my life being paranoid of something that was stupid as fuck to be paranoid about. What the
Hey, when you're right, you're right. When you're right, you're right.
hell? And so this is what's going on, basically. Once you start learning about actual size, once you start learning about camera angle stuff and all, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. So, like, basically, even the large.
Why did he just slide in the camera angle? Once you start learning about camera angles, like, what are you talking about? Are you talking about just people being concerned or insecure about their penis size like you were, like obsessed with it? And now we're talking about camera angles? Well, yeah, because you gotta show them the goods. Send it out on the wire.
Largest penises in porn aren't really that much bigger than anybody else's penis. They're really not.
Oh my god, dude. Shut up. You're such a loser. Oh,
when it really comes down to it, the differences in size are really not that drastic. They just aren't. Okay. So that was one of the major factors I realized. When I realized my size was already about the size of one of my favorite porn stars, Shane Diesel, I was just,
like, come on, dude. Oh, and then he does that too. He's like, oh, it's about the same size as insert name of porn star famous for having a giant dick. Just like that. So you can put that mental image in your brain. He's getting off again. He's cooming again. We're all helping him. You're welcome, perpetual pleasurist.
I was on cloud nine, and ever since then, it's been smooth sailing. I've never been, ever since then, sexually insecure at all about my size. And on top of that, I realized that actually...
Yeah, but what about your prowess, okay? What about the motion in the ocean, buddy?
Being big, but not too big, is actually much better because there's a lot more stuff that you can do overall that you necessarily can't do the same way if you're too large. So you have more advantages being big but not too big than you do being too big or borderline.
Yeah, you don't want to be like my dude Jonah Falcon, who has the Guinness Book World Record, I think, for largest penis. It's too much business, dude. Thing is like 1.5 feet. It's like flopping. It's a fucking too big of a dick. You don't want that, okay? You want whatever perpetual pleasurist has. You want that Shane Diesel cut. That's what you're looking for.
Line too big, etc. Right? So there's that as well. I'll hone in on those details more in other videos. But for this video, I wanted to give you all that background to my own situation so that you have an understanding of where I'm coming from. And this video might be a video in a multi-part series. So if the video or audio cuts off, just know that I will have a follow-up in an other part of video. I've been having some issues with the devices I've been using, shutting off before I finish recordings and stuff. So
yeah, they got porn playing all the time and they overheat and they just shut off.
if that happens, just go to part 2. Okay, I'm just giving you a heads up just in case it
thank
happens.
Thank you.
But anyway, the feedback I've gotten on this channel and elsewhere is a lot more men who otherwise would be totally terrified to come forward and say something about their own insecurities and the issues they face with this are now getting more bold and brave, because they know on my channel, in my comment section, they have a safe space where I will immediately remove anybody who blasts jokes or insults at them at all, period, across the board.
So he's out there, he's saving men. Okay, he's got a community. He's going to protect it. He's the Papa Bear, Mama Bear, the protector, the Moloch. Okay, yeah, sure, you got to make a sacrifice, but then you're set.
And I'll hound down those individuals for themselves being sexually insecure in a cruel, negative way, to where they're exposed publicly for that. So basically, with that environment, more people feel confident to talk about this. They know they're not going to get insulted here, and that's a very important thing that men need, okay? Across the board, all right? Whatever their size may be or whatever their security level may be, it's important to have a space where you can just talk, real talk, none of this bullshit about jokes or insults or all that crap, because these are...
He just wants a safe place for people to be able to talk about their fucking tiny, not as big as Perpetual Pleasurist or Shane Diesel or Jonah Falcon's penis. There's 5 comments. None of them are showing. Let's see, newest first. Okay, there's 1 comment with 4 replies. He doesn't get a lot of traction because he's so fucking obnoxious. But 257 views, solid Zoobox numbers. But usually I feel like in the past he used to have a much more active comment section, although he may have chased a lot of people away. This person says, I was watching the Whatever podcast number 98, and when the MILF sex worker said she hangs out with those young guys with huge cocks, that almost killed me. Very hard not to feel instantly depressed. So yeah. We got a tiny dick person. Thank you for your direct honesty, brother. That's a rare thing in this world. I found the exact clip. In reply, this person says, I hate lies, man. I don't like to lie to myself. Honesty is like an obligation for me. It's a very short clip, but sufficiently enough to make you feel bad about your size and jealous of women's sexual abundance. Oh my God. So you got these kind of like these mentally ill, neurotic psychopaths that just kind of just like they feed off of each other. This is just what this is. It's just so unhealthy. It's so fucking unhealthy. Shaping their worldview by watching these fucking whatever podcast things, being obsessed with their penis size. Fuck. And then you got somebody like this coming along, giving mana to the masses, speaking mana to the people.
We're talking about men needing these things. And if they don't have them, they're nightmarishly depressed or suicidal. So here's the situation in the world right now. This is real talk. This is what's going on in the world. This is why so many men are majorly, massively depressed, and why so many men are also borderline suicidal or directly suicidal.
Penis size. Not being able to talk about penis size. Not being told that they got a nice hog. Okay? It's depressing.
Over and over again, or intermittently suicidal as a pattern. Okay? Because many men throughout the world are, number one, not having intercourse with women, even though they may be tall men, they may be confident, they may be good looking. And there's a bunch of factors why that's not happening, and it's tormenting them.
Okay? Because they
What
need
the
that
fuck?
encouragement sexually to feel happy in life.
Where does he develop like this perspective on the world, I wonder? I mean, to me it just sounds like it's all just in his own head. It's like, he just catches things and interprets things the way he wants to interpret them. But I would just like to know more about like his pathology. I want to know what made this person the person that they are. I want to know about his parents. I want to know about his high school friends. I'm just like fascinated by it. Like, how do you get here? I mean, I understand, like, we acknowledge the person's seems like several mental disorders. I don't know if they're medicated or whatever. I have no idea. But it's clearly got some screws loose. But like these patterns of behaviors or these thoughts or whatever, I wonder where like that starts or comes from and where that obsession, the obsessiveness about it comes from.
It's a mental emotion.
And even now that he's overcome this fear because he learned that he has a big dick, like he's still obsessed with it. He's still obsessed with talking about it and getting more validation and kind of winking, nodding to his audience to talk about how big his dick is while kind of packaging it in this idea that he's like helping people. I'm here for you. I'm here for you, brother.
Emotional, physiological need. Yes, you can physically survive without it. It's not like you don't require it to the degree you require food, in the sense of your body will keep going without it. But you're going to chronically feel disturbed and bothered and miserable your whole life if you don't have it. If you're like me, psychologically. And many men are like me psychologically in this regards.
Like, yeah, like men like to have sex. Once you pop, you just can't stop. Once you open that door, it does, Booty is important. Booty's more important than water,
Emotionally and otherwise, and hormonally. So what I noticed was when I started receiving this praise from the first person I had intercourse with all the way onwards, including size queens specifying that they actually preferred my size in particular as
size queens. That's a new term. Size queens.
the big size that they prefer. They'd been with all sorts of different sizes, smaller, larger, all of it. And they preferred my sweet spot size over other sizes they'd been with. And they of their own accord told me this. I didn't have to pull it out of them or anything. They just said this to me, okay? And you can physically feel it when you're in there thrusting it. So you can feel that they're completely fulfilled and full inside, right?
Okay, you can feel that you've just come really hard. So I looked into it. This is a thing. Do girls talk about... I just typed in size queens. 10 guys at once. Size queen. Valera Steele on a podcast. Do girls talk about guys' size? A size queen's dream. The Black Bull experiences of Playboy Savage. It's like some kind of audiobook thing. What size women like best? It's a short. So yeah, I guess that's the thing. Oh, and even one of our cougars came up. Oh my goodness gracious. Size queens.
So I know they're being truthful. They're not just saying this because I can physically feel it also. And the reason I say that is when that started happening, everything changed. Like the things that chronically bothered me stopped.
Yes, because you were fucking obsessed with your penis and your sexuality and whether or not you were going to be good or whatever. You were obsessed with it. Like in a normal person, it just gives you a sense of confidence, whatever. It feels like you've grown up a little bit. Something substantial happened in your life. And this guy just can't, I guess he can't understand that. He can't put those pieces together. He's just going to be like esoteric about it. It's like it's fucking magic. Gonna lean back because he's all into some weird like spiritualism and energy transfers and stuff like that. So he probably would talk about it in those kinds of terms.
It's chronically bothering me like they did before. Because no matter what happened, I could always fall back on the fact that I can guarantee that I can have this no matter what. I can have women that are moaning in pleasure when I'm making love to them and actually complimenting me of their own accord. Both in that regards and also interpersonally, emotionally, and otherwise.
I want to send the women that he sleeps with these videos.
And, them spontaneously telling me that I'm the best thing that's ever happened to them, etc.
Yeah.
Right? I can always guarantee that I have that no matter what as a fallback.
And then we go on the third and fourth date, and it pretty much fizzles out because I'm kind of a weirdo freak.
No matter what. If everything else fails, I still have that, right? And that's the key difference here. If a man does not have that as a reliable fallback, if all else fails, then he's going to be chronically miserable and bothered and disturbed. Whether he admits this or not, whether he acknowledges this or not, you can see it in their behavior. So all sorts of men worldwide, you can see in their behavior that they are bothered by not having regular, consistent sexual experiences with gorgeous.
Is this guy fucking for real? You know what I mean? Like, am I being pranked? Am I being pranked right now? Because it's just the most dumb, basic bitch. Like, took 13 minutes to say that, like, men get depressed when they don't get to have sex a lot, or if they're single or whatever, if they're having a hard time getting laid. Men find that depressing. This is a fucking red alert. Red alert. Where is it? Where you at, Hodges?
No, I got to start this off with a red alert, red alert, red alert.
Just saying. Like, it's fucking baffles me. But I guess that's where the narcissism thing comes into play. They think they're the first people that ever thought anything.
Women that they prefer. Okay? Them lacking that leads to them being bitter, resentful, and so they go on all these tangent narratives to distract themselves from the fact that that's really what is bothering them. Okay? So many men don't admit it, and the men who do admit it, they try to blame it all on women. It's women's fault, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But what's really going on, whatever the individual situation is the fact that we're living in a world where they're not experiencing those things to their standards or desires. Therefore, they're miserable. That's what's happening. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, okay. Like, what the fuck?
Never mind the individual narratives or this or that or whatever. The point is, they're not having regular, consistent sex with the types of women they desire, and they're not receiving.
Well, if you're putting on the caveat with the types of women they desire, I imagine that's probably like a lot of guys. That's a lot of dudes. Like, I can't imagine. Like, in terms of, because he's like, because I think when he says like gorgeous women, I feel like he has like some sort of like idea, like a supermodel or whatever, like somebody that's like, conventionally sexy, quote unquote, right? I feel like that's what he's talking about. He's like, men lust after like models and actresses and the most beautiful people in the world, where we're all chuds and we're all here together, and average people just end up with other average people. If you're saying that they're still getting laid, but they're just not getting laid by supermodels, well then, and I'm supposed to like feel bad for them? I'm not having it. The girls aren't having it. Okay?
Giving spontaneous praise from women either when they are having sexual experiences of the women specifically glorifying their sexual prowess and or their size, etc. That's not.
See, he doesn't understand that this is his like obsession. This is his fetish. His sexual prowess, his validation of his sexual prowess. That's his obsession. So he just projects it's like, well, if men don't have that, then their life falls apart. Like when it happened for me, my life changed. Like, so if it happens for everybody, then their lives will change too. I mean, like, how often do you think, like, just regular people like that have sex that are like constantly complimenting each other? I don't know. Maybe that's the thing. I mean, I guess like, me and my wife, well, we have like a joke. We have a joke. We literally shake each other's hands. after coitus. We literally say that's a little private. That's well, not a private joke anymore, but that's a joke that we do. But I guess that's like an equivalent of that. You know, should take the hand away. We're like, sorry, just wasn't up to snuff.
Happening even when they're having intercourse with women. They're just having intercourse, but they're not getting complimented. Okay, and that also bothers them.
See, okay. So now he set that straight. They're having sex, but they're not being complimented. That bothers them because obviously they're going to assume that they're not good in bed.
So this is what is going on throughout the entire world everywhere. Okay. Now, pornography, big penis obsessed or fixated pornography absolutely doesn't help with this in terms of men who are sexually insecure in that particular way. And lacking that experience also in their physical life, right? Outside of pornography. So really, when you get down to it, if you talk to them in one-on-one real talk, this is what they will describe to you, okay? So I kid you not, literally the only reason I had the confidence to start talking about these subjects publicly on my channel was because I'm not sexually insecure about that anymore, like I used to be way in the past.
I wonder what way in the past is. Like a couple years ago, 10 years ago.
However, if I was, I wouldn't be talking about it publicly because here's all.
Actually, it was like 6 months ago. He's been with 3 women, and he's like, everybody, every single woman I've ever been with told me I had a big dick. Okay.
Also, the situation that's driving men nuts and making them miserable. Men across the world know that if you even talk about this subject matter, you're going to have all sorts of trolls and idiots and dumbasses doing this finger pointing thing. Oh, look, why are you talking about it in the first place? You must yourself also be sexually insecure.
You listen, if you're going on your Facebook page, like writing about your penis insecurity / envy, yeah, people are probably not going to respond great. But, you know, when you have those kinds of problems, you have those kinds of, like, I don't know, mental disturbance. You have those kind of pathological needs, okay? You got to go seek out help, therapy, peers, whatever, forums. You can't just be spilling your fucking small penis woes all over your public Facebook pages and whatnot, going into other people's spaces, talking about it, bringing it up at dinner during the holidays. It's not appropriate. Stop being so fucking needy. Grow a thicker skin.
Of this type, ha ha ha, chuckle, 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 right? Blah, 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 and so on and so forth. And that's exactly what happens because the world is full of these dumbasses who don't understand that talking about a subject matter doesn't equal you yourself are the one currently anymore suffering from those issues.
Yeah, nobody thinks that. But if you're going to, like, de facto drag them into your weird conversation, they might just have an opinion about it.
It does not follow. Furthermore, we also live in a world where there's very few people actually exposing those who insult others or blast out penis-sized jokes of whatever variety intended as insults. If they're compliments, they're fine. And if they're intended as an insult, that's a problem. We live in a world where people don't...
I guess, you know, there probably is people that have fetishes for small penises. So maybe there are people out there that would compliment you on your 1/4-inch killer. Like, yeah, I like, you know... I like a little fella. I like a little dinner sausage or whatever you call it. A little cocktail wiener there.
One more time. Nickel dicks on the internet who give me shit about whatever. Fuck you.
Don't understand that the ones doing that themselves are the problem people. They're the reason why these men are depressed as hell and suicidal as hell. It's because these motherfuckers who insult and joke to them exist in the world. That's why they're suicidally depressed.
This is like such a childish perspective. Maybe I've just been out of the loop or whatever. Maybe I just haven't been around enough dudes or something. But like, I don't like ever in my adult life ever this ever being like a thing. Like when you're a teenager, yeah, like because people just fucking just pick at you for anything and blah blah blah, and it's funny and everybody's immature, etc. Sure, people talk about those kinds of things, but as an adult, like I don't know, maybe I'm just sheltered in that way. Maybe I've just had a sheltered adult experience, and I was never like embroiled in a conversation or a shouting match about penis sizes or something.
Depressed. But the world is full of these sick buffoons who don't fucking understand that. Okay, so you have to spell it out to them, right? So, for example, on my channel here, I've gotten many different commenters, many dumbasses coming onto my channel being like, "Oh, obviously you're experiencing this yourself. Oh, obviously you yourself are having this issue." Blah 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 blah. It's
yes.
Like, no.
No. Yes. You are. You're like DBDR. You're too much of a narcissist to actually like be humble enough to consider it. You actually have no self-awareness. You are not aware of yourself in the way that you think that you are. They should hook up. They should do some collabs. I want to see some collabs. Perpetual Pleasurist, DBDR. Maybe the Perpetual Pleasurist could coach DBDR. Kind of like a date guy, like a date coach, a date guru. Just, hey, I'm just spitballing here, okay?
Actually, not at all. Quite the opposite. In fact, I'm brave to talk about it because I'm not experiencing those issues anymore. If I was, I wouldn't be talking about it because I know my...
Yeah, that means you're not brave because you're past the point of it being an insecurity for you. It's not a problem because you're over it, and you claim to have the technically perfect size penis. So yeah, you wouldn't be brave now. It would have been brave while you were embroiled in the insecurity. That would have been brave. This is not bravery. This is bragging.
My psychology. If I had my psychology that I still had back in my teenage years, early 20s, I wouldn't be talking about this. I'd be embarrassed as hell to talk about it or bring it up because I know what people assume. And people's assumptions are stupid fucking bullshit.
What do people assume? Do people assume that you have a small dick? And he's like, I can't have that. I cannot have that.
You're a fucking loser.
So they're irrelevant, but they still go on anyway. So I was like, wait a minute. What's really going on here? Okay, I see what's going on. So what's happening is these motherfuckers, they're still trying to play the spiel of, oh, if you're sexually insecure, that equals you're less of a man because you feel some variation of sexual insecurity. Bullshit. No, it doesn't.
Again, like kids, I'm sure like mean about this kind of stuff. Although, I mean, I don't really, honestly, my friend group, not really so much, but like, I mean, we'd fucking poke at each other and shit, but like, not really. I don't remember that being this stuff ever really being much of a thing, but I know it was around. I heard other kids talking like that to their friends and shit like that. But like, it just doesn't. I just feel like this is such a weird fixation. Like maybe they were just this guy was just so traumatized by like being, I don't know, accosted or something. Maybe he tried to bring it up or whatever. He just didn't feel it was like socially acceptable. I mean, if what he's saying is true, he never even tried. He never attempted. He never tried to. He never tried to discuss it because he was too insecure. He was too scared to. Because of the stigma, okay? Because of the stigma. But yeah.
Sexual insecurity itself is not the problem at all, no matter what variety of sexual insecurity is, including sexual insecurity of being concerned about being too thick or too long, which is in fact a type of sexual insecurity that I experience in many cases. So sexual insecurity, no matter what variety, it's neither here nor there.
How can sexual insecurity not be part of what you're talking about? It is literally what you're talking about. It is here or there. because he just said that, like, yeah, even I would experience some of that. Like, well, then, yeah, then you are talking about yourself when you talk about this shit then. And you are still in the midst of it, I guess.
This is how you call out these bullshit pieces of crap. These motherfuckers who try to pull this. And this is how we change the social narrative and are able to have real talk about this stuff. What you do is you spell it out for these motherfuckers that the problem is people who insult others in relationship to sexual things, not caring whether that other person is going to be severely depressed after seeing or reading that, or suicidal, or more suicidal after reading it. And some people are insanely fucking vile that they actually want others to be more depressed and more suicidal. That's why they purposefully insult or joke about it, because they want that to be the result. Okay?
Yeah, that's because your group, the social group that you're in, you're literally talking to mentally ill people. That's why you get this kind of reaction, this kind of like really heightened, hyperbolic, aggressive, somewhat vile behavior is 100% because of the company you keep. And that's why you attract the people you do.
Because they're that fucking disgusting. So that is the problem we're talking about.
Yeah.
So the people who do that, they try to spin it that sexual insecurity, oh, look, they try to play the echo game, but you can immediately stop them from doing this, because what they'll do is this. If you talk about these subject matters at all, doesn't matter what you say about them, you just discuss them. Oh, look, he's always discussing these things. He's obsessed with them. Look at therefore. No. We're saying, and we're calling out the problem being people being...
He's like talking to like 5 people. When he makes these kinds of videos, these people that he's like embroiled with, like these comment section battles. And it's just like he's acting like he's some sort of like hero, some sort of warrior, sort of penis patriot, if you will. It's so autistic.
Being cruel to others with sexual jokes is the problem. Being sexually insecure by itself.
He must have gotten made fun of something fierce. He must have had like a DBDR like experience with his mother, like talk shit about his dick or something. Why are you insecure about it? It's not like you're gonna use it anyways. Perpetual pleasurist.
Self isn't the problem that we're calling out in this video. Because people wouldn't be sexually insecure in those ways anywhere near the degree that they are if insulting motherfuckers like you didn't exist in the world. If you were extinct. Okay?
Me?
That's what we're dealing with here.
What? He wants me to go extinct? Well, he wants everybody to go extinct. Maybe he's not an antinatalist. I know he chums around with those guys, but you know who this guy is? You know where he works?
He's nothing but a ghoul and a goblin who works at the basement.
He works at the fucking basement.
And the ones who do that themselves are vastly more sexually insecure than fucking anybody in a negative, cruel, bad way, which is the variation of sexual insecurity that is the problem. Okay? The variation that spurs a man on to be cruel to other men, most of whom he doesn't even know, and blast bullshit out online or in person. Not knowing or not caring that even if it's not the men he's directing it at, other men seeing that who might themselves be insecure.
You can't be, listen, you have to just cater to these people at any moment. Just have to kind of like rewire your own brain and behavior, the things you find funny, because at any moment, at any time, somebody might come across something that you have said and be offended by it and not think it's funny. Listen, motherfuckers, I'm fucking on to you. I fucking know about you, dude. I see you out there making small dick jokes. The fuck?
In a way that's not wrong, because it's just a natural feeling that they're having. might actually be severely depressed. Holy shit, I can't believe this person is joking about this. Even though they're not directing it at me, they're joking to somebody else. What the hell? Why am I still living in this world? And thus the suicidal ideation continues. Do you see? This is what goes on here. And you have to fucking surgically spell shit out to people for them to understand these fucking things. You know? That's the other part of the fucking problem.
You know, is there like a scourge of this? Is this just like a huge deal? Is there something here that I'm just not aware of? Probably. Very likely. He's very impassioned about this, okay? Do not humiliate people for their penis size.
So the biggest issue is men throughout the world are fucking mortified at even being publicly considered to be other than big or huge in penis size. They can't even stand the possibility that others don't deem them to be that, assumptively or psychologically. Never mind the fact that people never see you directly, or that it's weird as fuck that they would comment on it anyway, beyond what you yourself say about it.
Yeah, because nobody's doing this, dude. Yeah, I'm sure, like, yeah, nobody wants to, like, think of themselves of having a small dick or thinking that other people are looking at you like you have a small dick. I guess that would bother me if I was a fucking crazy person. If I was fucking terminally neurotic and just self-obsessed and absorbed with my own bullshit, then maybe I would freak out about shit like that. Like, man, I hope I'm not. Hope people don't think I have a small dick. I gotta tell you, I really hope they don't. If they do, I might delete myself, okay? I don't want to, but I might have to. If somebody doesn't tell me I have a big dick, like, now, I'll fucking do it.
But most men throughout the world are mortified of what others think about their size or this or that or whatever. I personally am not. Whereas in the past, I was. When I was a teenager, early 20s, I was mortified. Because nowadays I know better. But here's the fact of the matter.
Because nowadays I know better. No, why did you think? Why were you mortified? Like, what was it? What the fuck happened? We need an explanation. Stop dancing around it, coward. Out with it. Out with it.
And I'm being fully straight up with you. If I actually was legitimately considered other than big in size, I wouldn't talk about this publicly.
Oh my God, dude. See, it gives him the power. It gives him the strength. It's like God. He's like Conan with his sword. You know? The gift from Crom. And he has it, and he needs to wield it responsibly. He needs to be there looking out for the small penis people.
Because, yes, I'm dependent on others' praise for my confidence. Period. Always have been. In that regards. If others' praise isn't there, the confidence isn't there. That's how my brain works. That's how it always worked. So, I know not everybody is necessarily like that. That's how I am, though, right? So I go by on what I'm experiencing in terms of what my romantic partners say to me in that regards. I really couldn't give half a shit what others who aren't romantic with me say about it.
No, that's not true at all. Because you just said that if you were a person that was thought of to have a less than huge dong, you wouldn't talk about this stuff publicly. So you very much do care that people think you have a big dick. And honestly, I got to tell you, perpetual pleasurist, PP, if I may. I'm starting to doubt this Shane Diesel claim. I'm starting to doubt that you have a big dick. I'm starting to doubt that you have sex at all, like if ever. You might actually just be a virgin. As far as I'm concerned, the way you talk about things makes me suspicious. You seem like you're like 25. If you're not like 25, That's sad. That's sad, y'all.
In fact, I just fucking laugh at it. Like if it's basically somebody who doesn't fucking know me, they've never met me, they have no idea about anything about me in person, in private, or anything like that, and they're sure as hell never going to be romantic with me. They're literally the dumbest motherfucker that's ever walked the planet, and they're literally just exposing shit about themselves if they try to insult me or indicate something. Oh, you're talking about these things, therefore you're insecure about your size. No, actually, that's you just being dumb as fuck, actually. That's really what that is. And in fact, not only that, it's exposing that you yourself have the urge to try and hint at that because you obviously are insecure about that. Otherwise, you wouldn't even mention something like that. You just wouldn't. Okay? And you'd realize how stupid you are to those who are attuned to what you're actually doing. You'd see it. But it's like a lot of these people, they do the work for us. They expose their idiocy for us to expose on a silver fucking platter, right? So it makes it quite easy.
It's like those 7 fucking commenters, dude. Those fucking trolls, dude. They expose themselves and then we ban them. Then we block their ass.
But there's plenty of men out here who don't have a voice, who are incredibly insecure about that, and many men who actually do have what is considered an only average or only small size. Because this is the other part that is almost never discussed anywhere, that really needs to sink into the public, and they need to really fucking understand this. Most men...
They get with the fucking program, okay? You need to understand this about fucking men.
Oh my god.
You gotta fucking get with it.
Psychologically, throughout the world, pretty much every man I've talked to and interacted with needs almost to the level of food. Close to the level of food.
Dude, listen, booty's more important than fucking water.
They need... mentally, emotionally, psychologically, physiologically, hormonally, they need the ones who they're romantic with. Number one, they need the romance itself for their health, okay? Spontaneously from others and towards them. They need that first and foremost. And on top of that, they need to have their penis size and prowess praised by who they're romantic with. They need this, okay? So them not having that is...
like, there is a kernel of truth to what he's saying in the sense that, like, if you had no, like, idea or awareness, if you were, like, pleased, like, if like, your wife or whoever, like, found, like, the sex good, like, that might mess with you psychologically, right? If you're not, like... If there's no indicators, if it's just, like, weird stone cold silence... and you just do the deed, and you just roll over and go to bed. You might not be in a good place there. But the way that he just hyper fixates on it is doesn't seem like it encourages something healthy to need something like that, to be like something so direct, and the way that he's talking about it. As if it's like a direct thing. Like they have to directly, literally say it to you. At least that's how I feel like he's representing it.
Simply a world of misery. It's not good. So for most men psychologically, being considered only average is also miserable. It's almost as miserable as being considered too small. For most men.
For most men. Like myself.
We're just normal men.
What do you mean, normal men?
We're just innocent men.
Better not be making jokes about that guy's penis. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, right? So no matter what their size are, most men are mortified at even the idea of being considered only average. It's like a chronic disturbance and paranoia in most men that exist. So it's not like... when people give these narratives out, oh, you're totally fine, you're totally normal, that's literally like a death sentence. No man wants to hear that he has a
that he's normal. He has to be either a bum or exceptional. There is no in between. In between, Might as well just be on the bottom.
Normal penis size. They don't want to hear that. They're interested in hearing that they're especially big, that they're especially large. Hearing that they're normal is like a slap in the face to most men. That's the opposite of what they want to hear. But you
Dude, this guy is so insecure about his penis size. It's crazy.
have a world full of people who are oblivious to, they don't understand this, that is associated in a man's brain with being mediocre. Okay? Not especially sticking out literally and standing out literally in the minds of others or in the visual shock of others. This is precisely the psychology that pornography hones in on. They know that most men throughout the world have this psychology towards their penis and sexual prowess, and they have this need, and this is what they hone in on and drill in on. Okay? So if a man doesn't actually have an above average penis or an actually big.
So what they're saying is that I don't know if he understands what he's saying, that like pornography is creating a false idea of what sexual relations are like for a lot of men. So when they have sex with somebody and it's not like a hardcore porn scene, they feel like they've done something wrong. I think that's what he doesn't know that he's saying that, but that's what he's saying.
Big penis or an actual huge penis, he's going to actually in real life experience, oh, you're totally normal. You should be satisfied. You should be confident. You're normal. This is totally normal and healthy. Little do they know, doctors, others, whoever else that tell them this, being told you're totally normal and healthy is like, oh, fuck. Well, I'm not especially unique. I don't especially stand.
What? If you were to go to a doctor and your doctor would tell me like, well, you're normal. And you'd be like, oh, fuck. I'd be like, thank God. I'm glad we got there. Like, glad we got the normal.
Out in the minds or hearts of women that fill the world, or you or others that I'm just mediocre, basically. In other words, you should be satisfied being mediocre. In other words, is what men hear when people tell them that. Okay. But
so is this like the seed? Is this the thing that happened to him when he was younger? Did somebody tell him his penis looked normal? And he's like, what? Normal? Are you fucking serious, Steve?
But men aren't satisfied being mediocre. So this is the eternal chronic plague problem of men lacking what's considered especially big or especially huge of a penis. Is they're chronically bothered by the fact that they aren't the one that sticks out uniquely beyond other men.
Has this dude ever had sex before? Has he ever actually pleasured another human being? I'm starting to wonder, honestly. It's like that scene in the 40-Year-Old Virgin when Steve Carell gets busted for being a virgin. He starts describing a woman's breast like a sandbag. I'm getting those kind of vibes.
That's what's bothering them. It's not even that men are worried about being small specifically. They're worried about being considered only normal is what bothers them. That's what bothers them. That is what disturbs them. Okay? So
why? You have not explained this. You haven't demonstrated. You got to explain it.
I'll talk about in other videos. There's 2 series of behavior you can look for. I'm talking about behavior within the fold of cruelty towards other men types, insults towards other men types, and how they go about it, how they go about doing this. You can actually sort of detect what type of a penis size a man is insecure about. Because men who have average sizes, they have a certain series, if they are cruel types of men towards other men, they have a certain series of behaviors, a way they talk, a way they carry themselves, that is the nature of a man who's insecure about having an only normal penis size, but who's not insecure about it specifically being small. There's a separate set of behaviors there.
Oh,
now,
okay.
A man who's insecure about his penis size actually being small, he has a more extreme other separate set of behaviors if he's the cruel type. Okay, there's 2 separate sets of behaviors.
Oh, so they're saying these men with small penises lash out in pain. They lash out in pain. Can you believe this? Can you believe this is happening, they say? This guy talking about his Shane Diesel penis. I'll show him. I'll show him. We'll show him. Me and my little guy.
And it's a very interesting subject matter that you'll find quite fascinating because I've been able to pinpoint down exactly what you want to look for behavior-wise. Once again, it's never a problem if the man is kind to others. He just has his own insecurities in private or whatever, or he talks about them, but he's not mean to others, though. It's like, okay, if he talks about, I have this insecurity, that insecurity, but he's a kind person to other people, no problem, no issues. We're strictly talking about those who are cruel to others driven by it. All right. And I really can't emphasize that enough. So next time you see some dumbass say, oh, you're insecure too, it's like, motherfucker, that's totally irrelevant. It has zero to do with how insecure or how non-insecure somebody is. That has nothing to do with the subject matter we're talking about in terms of calling out your bullshit. We're talking.
What the fuck is he talking about? Isn't this the subject? This is what you're addressing. The fuck are you talking about?
About strictly being cruel to others and insulting them or joking about their penis size is what we're calling out in terms of the bad behavior part.
Me and the fucking dick boys. Me and the cock bros.
Okay. And then the insecurity part is a totally separate topic, which men should only ever receive support and encouragement on in terms of being able to bring themselves out of it. Okay? Only that. Never jokes, never insults, nothing. Because that doesn't help anybody, and it especially doesn't help them in suffering from it. It just makes it 10 times fucking worse. So if you're a vile, rotbag piece of shit and you want to make someone suffering from that even more traumatized and tormented, then rot away, fuck you, and go wank off in a corner till your dick drains down and you scream, okay?
He did not quite think that one through all the way. Like, what he's saying makes no sense. You know, drain your dick down and you scream.
Do that, all right?
Do that.
Because I don't like to joke about people dying or saying they need to die. That's why I use that when I say rot away.
I'd rather just have their penises die.
That's what's happening anyway. So it's like, you know, if their basically if their psychology is that toxic towards others, they're internally, organ-wise, they're going to be rotting away faster anyway. So I just say, okay, may you rot away faster than not if you're not willing to get out of that psychology. So therefore I can basically...
Fuck you, dude. You're such a fucking loser. Oh my God. You're such a bitch. Trying to take the high road while you're insulting people. Just shut up. Why even address this?
Say, just fuck off and die without actually wishing them to die. Because it's just basically, okay, may what's already happening to you is just speed up. May your health just gradually get worse and may you just literally rot away faster because your psychology is so rotten. So why not? You may as well. Your body may as well follow your rotten psychology. Your physiology
literally makes what he's saying makes no fucking sense. All right, I'm going to skip ahead here. Let's see how he closes out the video.
Okay? You need that taking place. Because if you don't have it, you're miserable. All right? And from this basis, this is real talk. This is what I'm going to base all my other future videos on following this topic. So the next video, I'm going to talk about specifically the particular inner psychological things that go on in a man's brain, thoughts, and head in relationship to a woman praising his size and also praising his sexual prowess and others.
Well, isn't that what this video was? He's like, no, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to just go over how I feel again.
Doing the same around him. Distinguished from people not doing that around him and the differences in health effects that has on a man. Because this has directly to do with health, okay? So it is healthy for a man to have that praise.
Listen, this is not about being a coomer. I repeat, it is not about being a coomer, okay? It's about health.
Is an acknowledgement and encouragement. It's unhealthy for a man to lack that. It's damaging to a man's health, physically and otherwise, to lack those things. It leads to chronic stress, chronic disturbance, chronic bother, because he's lacking something he needs. Just like if you're chronically stressed and disturbed if you lack food, or if you
like you think DBDR is bad, and then you fucking pop it, you see it like a real crazy person. How exhausting a real crazy person is. Like, holy shit. It's like this guy's like a psychic vamp, like an energy vampire. He just zapped my will to live. In fact, we're going to call it a show, everybody.